Chop it with Eric. Chop it with Eric.
Eric!
Yank his hair. Oh my God. Okay, great timing, Eric.
Oh my fucking God, dude. Welcome back to Chopping It Up, episode 2. Today we're going to be talking about some NFL topics as well as the college football playoffs. I'm here with Bryce, Preston, Eric. How are y'all doing?
Doing
Good.
Good.
Doing good.
Ready to get chopping it up?
Yes, sir.
Alright, it's time to chop it up. So, first thing we're going to get into is our top 10 wide receiver list. Alright, so I'm going to go first, sadly. So, first up, I have Jefferson. Alright, then number 2, I have Jamar Chase. Then I got Amon-Ra, DK Metcalf at number 4. Number 5, I got CD. Number 6, Garrett Wilson. Then I got Mike Evans. At 8, I have JSN. Number 9, AJ Brown. And then number 10, Devontae Adams.
Wild having DK at 4.
You are
DK at 4
biased.
is wild, bro.
DK is not the best
might as
wide
well with
receiver on
Bryce's
his
list.
own team.
Yeah, might as well on Bryce's list, he's going to put all Texan
JSN is better than DK, bro.
Yeah, but y'all said
You're right.
Y'all said not only on this season. That was literally what
You're right, but he has 14 games played.
okay, but y'all just said not over this season. Look at his other seasons. Where
Might
he's
as well
gone,
put the
like-
whole entire 49ers
Yeah.
fucking wide receivers on that shit.
I'm just saying.
Oh, it's
So okay, which ones do y'all not agree other
Well,
than DK?
Ayuk did better than DK last year.
in Jigba, I don't know. I think I'd be
I'm gonna
fine if
hold
you
off.
put in Jigba there, but I don't know too much about DK.
I think
So then
DK
who would you put in DK's spot?
Well,
at number
I
4?
would put DK down the list.
Yeah,
maybe.
I'd be fine
I'd
with-
still keep DK on the top.
Four?
I'd be fine
Top
with
5?
Top 4 over CD.
I'd be fine with
Gotcha.
DK anywhere from like 7 to 10. But like
7 to
if we're
10?
taking into account everyone else, I think DK is a little high.
Nico Collins not even on the list is crazy too.
That is
Didn't put
crazy.
Nico Collins on the list.
Alright,
I
Preston,
mean,
you
it's
guys-
Okay.
his personal bias.
I'll go. Okay, my top 10. Number 1, Jamar Chase. Number 2, Justin Jefferson. 3, Amon-Ra. 4, CD. 5, Nico. 6, AJ Brown. 7, I got Brian Thomas Jr.
Okay.
8, Terry McLaurin. 9, Mike Evans. 10, Puka Nacua.
That's fair. That's a decent list.
Decent
I
until
will
you
say-
got the Brian Thomas.
I will say that my argument
Yeah.
comes, I think 1 and 2 should be flipped.
Yeah.
I'll give you what.
For me, it was
It's-
like 1A, 1B.
Yeah,
like, they're
that's-
both like,
I agree with you.
That's
on
where
that.
you know what I mean?
I agree with you on that one.
I think they're...
I will say Brian Thomas Jr. was my like kind of like
Sneaky.
my
one.
sneaky
But-
one, but like bro,
I
he's
was-
doing so good with like poverty.
I was
My
thinking
thing
about
was,
putting
You
him
could
up
have
there.
put Malik Neighbors.
I know, but honestly, bro, Brian Thomas I feel like is
The
doing
only
better
reason
than-
why I didn't put like the couple of the rookies on there is just because like it's only the first season. I mean, I couldn't do too
But
much.
the argument with Jackson Jigma is his first season actually being good.
Okay, but
No, he's been
like,
serviceable, but he's
last
taken
year he
a
still
step,
did good.
right?
He did good, but
So-
not like top.
Yeah, he's still young, so I think I would rank someone who's still young, been in the league a couple years, and taking that next step higher than I would a rookie coming in first year doing great. Because there's a
Yeah.
sophomore slump. People don't have film on them. Which I've experienced as a Texans fan with CJ Stroud. It's been a little rough, but here, let me give y'all my list. I've got Justin Jefferson at 1, Jamar Chase at 2. I have that because I don't know. I'm of the opinion if you gave Justin Jefferson Joe Burrow, he's going for 2,000 yards every season. He's breaking every record in the record book, and he's done that, broken a ton of records with Kirk Cousins and Sam Darnold as his quarterback.
Kurt's
I-
pretty good.
Isn't
not
Joe Burrow?
Not
who
Joe
is-
Burrow good,
Joe Burrow
but
is statistically the best quarterback in the league this year.
But Kurt's
And
been
Joe
good
Burrow.
too.
Yeah, but he's not nowhere. He's nowhere near Joe
Well,
Burrow.
he's a. I'm not.
What do you
gonna say-
put?
In the past, Kirk Cousins had been a top 7 to 10 quarterback.
Yeah, but Joe Burrow's top 3, and like, there's nothing that you could say about it.
No.
Joe Burrow is. I mean, he's.
I think they're 1A, 1B. They're
Yeah,
both.
I think they're
Joe
1A,
Burrow.
1B, but that's my rationalization. That's
Yeah.
why I'm at 1. Number 3, I have CD Lamb.
Okay.
And again, we're talking about all years, not just this season.
Yep.
CeeDee Lamb. Nico Collins at 4. And you can laugh if he's a Texas fan. He was leading the league by 200 yards.
I agree, bro.
Oh, okay. All right.
Before he got
I
hurt.
agree.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad. Go ahead.
We got A.J. Brown right there. Amon-Ra St. Brown. Devontae Adams, just because I'm going off of
What number is
historically.
Devontae?
What do you mean?
Like what number?
On the list.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7.
7.
Okay.
And then I've got George Pickens. I think
okay.
I have him ranked so high because I think he's the motor to the Steelers' offense. And no offense to the Steelers.
No, we're terrible without
The
him.
Steelers are probably not a playoff team without George Pickens.
Okay.
I think he makes that much of an impact. Down year for him, but at number 9, I have Tyreek Hill. I still think he's great,
Yeah,
but he's had kind of a rough
Kind of
year.
forgot about that guy.
The 10
Too many
spot
kids.
gets hard for me. I've got 3 people that I think could definitely deserve it. I think Malik Neighbors is going to be great.
Yeah.
So I would put him there, but the hard part there is that he's a rookie. Then I have JSN. That's mainly based off of this year, but we haven't seen it consistently. And then I don't know. I would put Brandon Ayuk there if healthy. I think
he was kind of weird in the very beginning, but at the year, kind of. But then once he kind of got back into the mold, he became really good.
I'm interested to see how he's gonna do next year.
But also, I have a question for you, Bryce. Me and you were both a big Marvin Harrison guy.
Yeah.
Are you thinking like if Arizona moves off of Kyler Murray, because that might be a possibility this offseason, do you think that Marvin Harrison can get back into that conversation? Because me personally, I'm not going to speak for you. I thought he'll be one of the top 10s this year. But with Kyler Murray, it's not really his fault, but with Kyler Murray's play, it hasn't been into fruition, especially, because you were a fantasy holder of Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, it's been very unfortunate. I think if Marvin Harrison somehow gets a top 16 quarterback, he can be very good. That can consistently move the ball downfield. Kyler Murray, you could put him in the top 16, top 10, whatever. He's not consistent. I think if he gets not consistently great, but even just consistently decent or good quarterback play out of someone, maybe not the latter half of this season, but even Kirk Cousins at the beginning of the season, who's likely going to be a free agent. If he were to get someone like that who can consistently push the ball down the field and will throw contested balls, I think he could definitely work his way up there. I still think he's extremely talented and has a chance. I think he's just he was a little disappointing this year, I'll say.
Would you blame it on him or blame it more on Kyler?
More on Kyler, really. I mean, Marvin Harrison is getting a bunch of targets, but a lot of them are way off. I mean, it's 110 targets, but he's only catching roughly 50% of his balls. That's because all of them are just thrown into tight windows and into space. He's not throwing them open. And he's also not hitting him when he's wide open. He's trying to get him the ball with 3 people on him or throw a fade that ends up going out of bounds, and it's just...
All right, I got a question before we go on to Jonah's list. Not even a question, just a comment, and we don't even have to speak on it, but I love how I put DK at number 4, and I get flamed, but then Bryce puts Nico Collins at number 4, but then we all agree on it. Go ahead, Jonah.
Nico Collins has
Go ahead, Jonah. Go ahead, Jonah. No, go ahead, Jonah. Go ahead, Jonah.
You trying to slide in that comment. Nico is really fucking good.
I don't want to hear it.
Nico has
2 years.
11 games played and has almost 1,000 yards receiving.
You
He
hate my list,
he
then.
averages 88 yards a game.
That's this year.
And last year.
And last year.
Yeah, he has
Okay,
2
what about
seasons.
the other years with DK? Y'all don't think he's
He's
top
a
guy?
guy. Don't
DK last year.
Okay, so would you rather Nico or DK right now?
Me, personally.
Yeah,
Like,
both of you
as
guys.
a player
all this
this
right
year.
All this right here. Nico or DK right now.
I'm still with DK.
That's fair. I'm gonna go with Nico.
Nico, all the time. Here, let's look at this really quick. Where is DK? Because Nico Collins at 22 missed a lot of time. Where is he at? Look at this. 63 receptions with 16.
This is this
14
year.
games played.
Y'all said not
So
this year.
wait, no.
This is
What,
over
I'm
a-
just going off of this year because it's what we have pulled up. He has 3 more games played, less receiving yards, less touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Averages, what is it, 58? Or no. The 67 yards per game. Nico averages 88. DK also has 2 fumbles and 2 fumbles lost. Nico Collins hasn't had a single
I
turnover.
think what Eric's trying to say is that DK
has had
a better
down
career,
year.
but to be fair, he's been in the league longer.
Yeah,
Okay.
but also this year
We're talking about receivers that are
terribly.
like, okay, I know, but we're talking about receivers that are like who we think are the best receivers in the NFL,
Also-
whether they're coming up or going down. Right?
Before Nico Collins pulled his hamstring, he was on pace for 2,250 yards. He's played 11 games. He's
also-
going to break Calvin's.
All right, we got to go to Jonas.
Before that, also Nico didn't have a prime Russell Wilson throwing him the ball, right? He had a bunch of garbage quarterbacks.
He had Davis
and then
Mills.
he got his quarterback. I'm just saying. Right now he got his quarterback and he's thriving off of that. So you're gonna hate me for saying this. All right, my list. I have Jamar at number 1.
Okay.
Also because, rightfully so, I was a fantasy owner of Jamar Chase this year. I think he's really good, but also I will not take into account. Also, his quarterback is really good.
Yeah, I was a Jamar fantasy owner last year, and it wasn't too pretty.
Yeah, well, because his quarterback got injured. Number 2, I got Jay Jettis. Number 3, I have Nico Collins. I have Nico at number 3.
That's fair. Yeah.
I have at 4, I have Amon-Ra St. Brown. 5, I have AJ Brown. 6 is where I get to CD. 7, I got Mike Evans. 8, I have Hill. All right. 9, he's coming up on the list now. George Pickens. And then number 10, I have Terry McLaurin.
That's fair.
My honorable mentions are Garrett Wilson, Devontae Adams, and someone that we haven't mentioned yet, Zay Flowers.
Dude, I agree with putting Terry McLaurin in the top 10, bro. Like,
Really?
bro finally got his quarterback, and, like, he's been playing consistently, like, not, like, great, but good with, like, what? How many different quarterbacks has he had?
Yeah,
Like,
17,000.
Bro, he's so good.
Yeah.
He's so good.
And just, like, he also helps with Jaden Daniels. When they draft Jaden Daniels, I was like, okay. Terry McLaurin finally got his quarterback because Jaden Daniels is the one quarterback out of the draft class besides Drake May and whatever Caleb Williams. They'll push the ball down the field. And you saw it against Cincinnati, although their defense is terrible. If they need a play, they go down to Terry McLaurin. The same good thing goes with the Dallas Cowboys game the first time. They could have won it, but also Terry McLaurin got that big game. So Terry McLaurin has been a big help to Jalen Daniels. And I know that somebody's going to say, why the heck did you put Nico Collins at number 3? That would be probably you. Also, I did leave DK off this list because, honestly, back-to-back years, I don't think... Did he hit 1,000 last year?
I think it did, yeah. It was either 1,000 or like 950. I think.
Yeah, it's just like more the fact is, I think, like, DK is off the list for me right now based on, no offense, quarterback play and your offense. Your offense has been really weird, especially DK getting hurt some of the times, and now someone else is thriving off of DK's receptions.
I would agree. I would say it's not really DK's fault, but unfortunately, that's just how it goes in the NFL, brother.
Yeah, I've got 2 things really quick. One, I'm glad you put Garrett Wilson in there. Houston's going to trade for him. He's going to reunite with his college quarterback
Oh, brother!
next season.
Oh, I totally forgot about that.
We're going to have Garrett
everybody's
Wilson back in
coming to
Houston
the
with
Texans,
CJ
Bryce.
Stroud.
Yeah.
Well, they sure as hell aren't going to Seattle.
He doesn't have to go to Seattle.
But my question that I have for pretty much everyone is, why do y'all put CD so low? Is it some of the issues between maybe him and Dak Prescott?
Well, I
and
have CD
attitude?
top 4.
Yeah,
I have
CD top
5.
4. But production-wise, he's been a top, statistically, for the last couple of years, has been like a top 3,
I think
top 4 receiver in the league.
I think with me is right now, if you really look at the top receivers, they always have a number. They always have a number 2. You know, like Jamar Chase has T. Higgins, or Jay Jettis has
Jordan Addison.
Addison. Nico has Tank or Stephon or another
Amon-Ra
receiver.
has J-Mo when he's not gambling or getting into fights.
Yeah.
And Devontae Smith is at the Eagles as well.
Yeah.
And it's just more the fact is like most of the people on the list towards more the bottom is like they are the only target. Like that's why I have George Pickens at 9. It's kind of weird with me saying it, But it's just more the fact is, the 2 always tries to help to get the 1 open. If the 1's not open, the 2's open. The 2's open, they're not open, the 1's open.
I will say one more thing though about that. CD is statistically top 3, and what other receiver does he have?
No one. He has
So
enough
like
help.
Yeah. I gotta give him at least credit for that.
Yeah, I just also
I think Amon-Ra and CD for me are interchangeable as well.
I think
But
it's
just hard.
also I don't know what's going on with CD and Dak, because you saw it last year at the wild card game. They were just like CD's not on the same page, and then early this year it was the exact same thing. I think if for me, Dak needs to get better. I think just as me, but also CD's body language is kind of getting into more, I'm not going to say diva territory, but it's kind of getting there. And
but I mean, as
he's
someone who is a fan of a team who has flourished off of diva
divas,
players.
Yes,
it's not always a terrible thing.
It's not always a terrible thing.
I will say though, you look at some of the things that happened before CeeDee Lamb crashes out. A lot of the times, it's not something that he did. Dak has a dependence, Dak has a habit of throwing late, and he throws hospital balls. That's my biggest thing. So, like, if I was CeeDee Lamb and some guy is just throwing me hospital balls, I'm going to be pretty pissed off. Did CeeDee Lamb sign that big contract, that big extension? Yes, and that's on
He's been producing. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like the receivers that I have ahead of them, I would probably pick them before CD.
Yeah. See, that's where I would take CD over a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it's good for us to have that. So, a big topic of conversation from last week, our last episode, was the MVP. I think we all had some pretty strong opinions that came to there. Of course, some things have changed. But let's get into it. My MVP, if it truly is the best player, the most valuable player, and you don't think about record or any of that stuff, it's Joe Burrow. It is 100% Joe Burrow. If the MVP is not just a quarterback award, but wins matter, it goes to Saquon Barkley. But because the media conversation that everyone has is it's the best quarterback, given, yes, quarterback is the most valuable position, it should go to Josh Allen. I still stand by that. I think Lamar is having a great year. Everyone brings out the stats. Now that he's leading in these passing stats, that's important. But it wasn't important last year when he was statistically the 6th or 7th best passer of the football last season, and we gave it to him. So why does it matter this year? I think, and a lot of people conveniently leave out the fumbles when it comes to turnovers with Lamar. Lamar has double the amount of turnovers as Josh Allen does, if you count interceptions and fumbles. Josh Allen still hasn't fumbled the ball away. And I think the statistics are close. But if you're looking at this stuff, neither of them are top 5 in passing at all. So I would still stick by Josh Allen. But if I were voting, right, my vote would go to Joe Burrow. But that doesn't matter because it's going to be just down to the 2 quarterbacks. I still think Joe Burrow has a chance, though. Cincinnati somehow sneaks into the playoffs, although it's very unlikely. But again, they say it's a regular season award, not a playoffs award, and I would give it to Joe.
I think personally that since he makes the playoffs, Joe, without a doubt, should be the MVP. Him and Jamar Chase are carrying that team right now.
And T.
Yeah, T's doing all right, but they are carrying. Yeah, they are carrying. I do think if I was voting too, it should be Saquon. He is the best player in the league. It is a quarterback award, though, and I'm gonna stick with Lamar as mine. He just looks good.
It's the same thing with Preston. I think it's a rightfully deserved Saquon, but that's never gonna happen. So I have for second would be Joe Burrow. I mean,
You switched it up.
yeah. I mean, like
Joe's
we've
playing-
said,
Joe's playing
it's
so
just
good.
they've just like
Yeah.
they switch on another level.
With me, I'm switching mine up. Down the stretch right now, I'm going to say Lamar Jackson.
You're drunk on the Kool-Aid
No,
again, like you've
no,
been since he was
down
drafted.
this fucking stretch. He's
Drinking
been
the
so
Kool-Aid
good.
again.
I
He
agree,
beat-
Jonah. He's
he-
playing good as
okay,
hell.
He beat
this
the
year.
injured Texans roster where
Oh
we're
my-
missing 3 DBs.
Oh, I'm
He beat-
sorry. How
and
is he
who
able?
else did he beat?
Okay. How is he able to just control?
And Derrick
who was
Henry is the
injured?
one who won that game. I'll be honest. Derrick Henry is the one who
I'm
opened
not
that
gonna
whole
talk
game
ab-
up against
I'm not going to talk
Houston,
about that.
and that was embarrassing.
I'm going to talk about what he did to my Steelers, man. I'm going to talk about that. He overcame his demons against the Steelers, threw 3 touchdowns against one of the best defenses. He scored 3 touchdowns. He's been so good and he's so consistent. Yes, the fumbles, you got to definitely work on that, especially when you get into the playoffs. But you cannot argue, 44 touchdowns to 3 interceptions?
4.
4 interceptions?
Yeah, but he's also only thrown the ball like 400 times. Versus, you look at Joe Burrow, who's been asked to throw it
He's
600.
almost, but also the fact is, if you want to count in what he does on the ground, he is almost at 1,000 yards. Like that, he's about to throw for 4,000 yards, almost 4,000 yards, and have 1,000 on the ground. That is really impressive.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
again, like the precedent they set last year, you don't have to be number 1 in anything to win
I-
the MVP.
Bryce, I agree with that. I
my
think he
argument.
should not have won last year. Like,
Yeah,
I
I'm
think
not
that-
disagreeing
I
about
think
winning
he
last year.
totally got screwed last year. But like, it's so hard. Like,
All the
to
quarterbacks
just,
in the
it's
AFC
so
have been
hard to
playing
just.
good. I'm not going to
I
be
just-
mad if either one of them. Like, I wish it's not just been a quarterback award. I want someone else to win it, like a wide receiver or Saquon. Like last year, me and Preston and you, most of all of us on the same page. I thought, and I said this multiple times last year, even though I'm a big Lamar Jackson fan, I thought Christian McCaffrey was the most valuable player in the NFL last year. He was the best player in the NFL last year. But once they lost to Baltimore, that's when the media switched up and said, "Oh, look at Lamar do." I mean, Lamar was decent.
I mean, Lamar wasn't even the best quarterback.
Yeah,
last
he
year,
wasn't the best
so.
quarterback last year. If it went to a rivalry owner of the MVP, it should have been Josh Allen. But Josh Allen turned over the ball so much, so it didn't go to Josh. And then CJ, if CJ stayed healthy for a few more games, it would have been CJ's.
If CJ didn't miss those 2 games, it should have gone to him.
Yes, so
But-
it's just, last year was just more the fact, just like, remember that one year with Tom Brady, and it was Carson Wentz having a very good season, and then Carson Wentz gets hurt, and they're like, oh, who's MVP? Tom Brady.
Yeah.
There you go.
But again, then I don't know. I think there needs to be more. I think there needs to be stronger definitions around the MVP. Is it truly a regular season award? Because if it's a regular season award, it doesn't matter if the Bengals don't make the playoffs. Joe Burrow should win the MVP.
Yeah.
It should be.
I think we can
if
all
it
agree on
was-
that, right?
If it was that and your record didn't matter, right? Because I think we can all agree, Cincinnati is not losing games because of Joe Burrow. It's because that defense is atrocious.
Yeah, the defense
The-
was worse.
If you give them a, at par defense, maybe, a top 16, top 10 defense.
Or give them the
they're,
Texans defense, right?
Give them well, if you give them the
They'd
Texans
be undefeated,
defense,
right?
the Bengals are undefeated
Yeah.
this year.
Mhm.
But, because that's the only reason Houston's even in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's not a perfect world, and the lines around MVP have come into more of a popularity conversation where really everyone's sitting here debating Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson. They aren't even top 5 in passing. Both of them, their passing stats are worse than Geno Smith's.
I was about to
But
say
we're
something
talking about
that.
these two as some of the best in the league. I mean, you look at it. I mean, if you go to just overall statistics, the way ESPN has them ranked, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, and then you get to Lamar
But
Jackson.
all-purpose yards, bro.
How you go
He's got
all-purpose
almost
yards?
1,000 yards rushing. He'd be at the top.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I look at it. I mean, you can factor in some of these other people's rushing yards as well. I mean, they aren't going to be as much as Lamar, but also, I mean, this also doesn't even take into account the fumbles. Where if you put the fumbles,
Yeah, I
there.
agree.
Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson then has...
He has
I think
8.
I think it's like...
He has 6 fumbles and 3 interceptions, so it'd be 9.
4.
It's 4.
10.
So he's got
10.
He's got 10 turnovers.
Which is 4 less, but he also has, 4 more touchdowns too?
Mhm.
So, like...
4 more touchdowns? Yeah, I don't know. I
can
think
see it go either way.
I think in a perfect rating world it should go to Joe Burrow. But
Me too.
that's...
I agree. All right, next item that we are going to be chopping it up. We got the Pro Bowl. Who snubbed? Who deserved it? Let's talk about it.
Okay.
AFC side? What y'all thinking?
Quarterbacks, I think they got it right. Literally, all 3 of them are MVP.
Yeah.
all of them are MVP. Josh Allen, Joe
I don't think
Burrow,
anyone's going to
and
argue the
Lamar
quarterbacks
Jackson.
on the AFC side.
And the first alternate is CJ Stroud, which I'll also put him as the 4th best AFC quarterback. It's not really bad compared to all those quarterbacks.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. What I will say, as a very unbiased Texans fan, with the tackles, Laramie Tunsil is good, but I feel like he's had a down year. I would have probably slotted in maybe Joe Alt as one of the top 3 tackles, and I still think Laramie Tunsil deserves an alternate spot, but I don't think that he should be up there. As a Texans fan, I love Laramie Tunsil.
Is he hurt?
No, he's not hurt. He's had a couple injuries. It's just been the penalty side of it. Like, pass blocking, everything's been good, but the penalty side of everything, he's kind of struggled.
Eric, what about you?
For which part?
I mean, we're just
Anything?
talking about
Anything
AFC
on
offensive
AFC
side.
offensive side?
I'm gonna go to wide receivers. I personally think Zay Flowers snuck in there, in my opinion.
I think Jerry Jeudy did.
Yeah, I
Honestly,
think-
Both of those
both
are
of
people
them.
that I think just like really
honestly,
snuck in there.
Yeah, I think there were definitely better options.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised. I haven't looked at the alternates for the wide receivers, but if Brian Thomas Jr. is not an alternate, there's a problem.
Dude, Lad McConkey is. I mean,
Bro, what about Zay Flowers? Is that what y'all just said?
No,
Zay Flowers?
I said he said that he's surprised. That
I would pick
Zay.
probably Jerry over Zay.
I'm more surprised.
Zay's having a good year, but like,
Yeah.
bro,
Dude,
I would definitely pick Garrett Wilson. Bro, I would pick Ladd over
yeah.
Zay. I don't know.
I feel
That's
like
just
more
me.
the fact is like half of the receivers, if you really look down the list, besides like you see like Justin Jefferson, CD, Amon-Ra, all the pretty good receivers are on the NFC side.
Yeah.
More than the AFC side. I mean,
Sure.
yeah, it's going to be like that, but it's just, it is what
I mean,
it is.
you could for AFC, I would say, even though he might fight somebody, George Pickens or even like Malik Neighbors or something like that.
No, Malik is
NFC.
Oh shit.
Brian.
But I can see
either
George
way.
Pickens. I
Either
can see
way.
George
Yeah,
Pickens.
George-
Instead of Zay
I
or
feel like-
Jerry, or at least
Yeah.
no offense to Jerry Judy, but
No,
He
both
came
of
a long
them.
way.
yeah.
He is
came
having
on.
a good year.
Yeah. The thing was with George, which I'm not really butthurt about, it's because he got injured in the crucial parts of
the
our
latter
season.
half.
Yeah, like when we played the Eagles and the Chiefs. Like, yeah, I mean, he showed his value. We couldn't even move the ball.
Yeah. Let's see. So when we look down here, offensive line, I'm sure we... Yeah.
I want to add running backs. Running back is accurate. Because literally, if you look at it, Derrick Henry, really fucking good. Joe Mixon has done wonders on the Texans. I don't know why the Bengals got rid of him. I'm just going to say that right now.
Yeah.
He's done wonders.
I'm not going to complain about it, though. Thank you, Cincinnati. Let's see. Going on to the NFC offensive side, what are we thinking? Any issues here?
I know you guys were talking about Baker getting in.
Yeah, I would put Baker in
Over who?
over Sam.
You say Sam?
Yeah.
Remember Sam?
Jaden Daniels has been the best
Because
quarterback.
bro,
in that.
Sam's got like
Sam's
Sam's got weapons, bro, and Jordan Addison.
Actually,
Yeah.
But
the
I mean,
one
so does
person that
Baker.
we haven't been really talking about, I'm just on that train because also he's really worth it to his team somewhat. I'm surprised that Jalen Hurts didn't really get it.
Yeah. For me, that's like he's got. I
Jalen
don't know.
Hurts, Jalen Hurts, Jordan Love. I think the better quarterback play has been in the AFC, but some of the NFC people, I'm just really surprised that. I mean, Jared Goff getting in is really good. I think the people that can't, the one person I feel like they shouldn't have moved from quarterback, like, it's not arguable is how Jaden Daniels has been for his team.
See,
or you disagree?
my thing with the Pro Bowl is, if you look at it statistically, I really think Baker should take in Jaden Daniels' stats. Because if you look at quarterback statistic-wise, again, we've learned that in the NFL, popularity overlooks statistics and who really had the best year. You look at statistically, Joe Burrow, Jared Goff, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold. So 3 of the top 4 guys are all from the NFC. But you don't have Baker up there, and like Baker's dealt with so much this year too. I mean, he lost at one point. He was without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin's out for the season, so it's Baker and Mike Evans. That's where it's on. Jane Daniels had a great year. Like
we got to put rushing
to
into a factor though.
Yeah,
like we got to.
Yeah, I understand that, but also, I mean, you look at the discrepancy in yards. I mean, Baker Mayfield almost has 1,000 more passing yards than he does. But he's at about 700, 750 more.
Yeah, but what is the rushing yards like for Baker?
But also the fact is,
like if we're talking about like all-purpose yards, it'll be closer.
But also I want to make this note. I mean, Jaden Daniels led a poverty Commanders team into a playoff contender. I mean, like
I wouldn't say poverty. They got they just needed someone to lead them. You know what I mean? Like they had the weapons.
No, the whole entire organization shifted as well. I will say that, but Jaden Daniels has been the catapult to that.
I honestly think
is Baker Mayfield, right?
I agree.
Like if you look at after Brady left Tampa, I mean, and even Brady's last year with Tampa, like the offense is very similar, and I mean Baker Mayfield is making him really dangerous. But I think Jaden Daniels is having a great year. I would probably slot Baker in over him and give him the 4th alternate spot, just like we did with C.J. Stroud his rookie year. Last year, he was an alternate, but Patrick Mahomes goes to the Super Bowl, so he gets slotted into that Pro Bowl spot.
Thank God this year, Patrick Mahomes.
I think for the quarterbacks, like a lot of the NFC could all be swappable.
Yeah.
Like I think AFC Jared deserves it for sure, but like Sam and Jalen or Jaden and Baker and
I think Jaden stays, but
I think those 3 are all swappable.
Yeah, or even you could even slot in Jordan Love there at some point. Yeah. I mean, he's been on and off the season, but like they say, when Toyotathon comes around, so does Jordan Love. Still, I believe, is yet to throw an interception during Toyotathon, but he has 23 touchdowns.
Wide receivers, I'll say accurate. I really don't think. You have McLaurin, CD, Justin Jefferson, and Amon-Ra. Yeah. But the funny thing is, I was just thinking about it right now. Running back wise, I think everything is right there, but I hope the first alternate for running backs is Bijan Robinson. I mean, like, I totally, like, literally went through my mind.
And Chuba,
Bijan. I think both of them should be both of them should be the first alternates because
the NFC has some good running backs,
knowing that one of those running backs right there, one of the 3 running backs is going to the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
One of those 3.
Yeah.
And one of them is in the MVP discussion. Too bad he's not playing this Sunday. And
he would have broken it, bro.
Yeah, he would have broken it. Against his former team is crazy.
What about
I know we almost saw the 2 greatest rushing records broken. Ashton Genty was only like 20-something yards away.
And then Saquon.
That would have been awesome.
Lineman looks fine to me.
Yeah. Honest to God, I don't really pay attention to him.
Yeah, and fullback, I think as long as he's still in the league, Kyle Juszczyk should be. That's
our utility guy.
I love Kyle. He's about the only
like 11th.
Yeah,
he's about the only fullback used.
Ever talked.
Yeah, and Patrick Ricard for the Baltimore Ravens as well.
Yeah.
So both of them.
Well,
they're the only 2 teams that use fullback. All right. So
defense.
I want to say one thing for defense.
Yeah.
Okay, it's gonna lead into the big discussion for I want to start with the NFC real quick.
Okay.
Extremely biased. I have to put my biased Seahawks opinion in. I would want to replace Micah with our defensive end, Derek Hall. He's been sneaky good this year. I would want to put him in.
Honestly,
I don't really know a lot about him.
Honestly, I was
going to
say wrong.
Or actually, no. No, wait, that's
Leonard,
ends.
No. That's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going to say.
Leonard Williams inside.
Yeah,
He's
I
D
would
tackle.
I would put him in the Pro Bowl right now too.
Him too, but I would want to put Derek. I don't know if y'all know too much about him, but he's been really good.
Yeah. Also, I would say this. I will probably take out Byron Murphy and put in Tariq Woolen. I'm going to say this because he's been really good. Yes, he's gotten picked on a lot, but also the fact is, J.C. Horn has gotten picked on a lot.
I didn't hear of anything about that dude. I mean, I love Woolen, but I mean, I'm okay with him not making it this year.
Yeah, I know he's been like injured, kind of been on and off the field, but I'm surprised that Jair Alexander isn't up there as a corner because I mean, when he's played, he's locked people down.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to be a perennial top 5.
One of the
corner.
biggest snubs, Will Anderson.
Yeah, if we
talk
move
about
over
that?
to the AFC side, so that's where my big issue comes into play.
I'll take
Is
Myles Garrett out.
both Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter are both, I believe, top 4 in sacks and quarterback pressures. I know Daniil Hunter actually is statistically doing better than Will Anderson. And there's no mention. They're both alternates. And I think, Max Crosby and, Myles Garrett, I don't know, statistically have not done as well as the two
Max
of them.
Crosby, I'll keep up on there. I'll say that. Max Crosby is really good.
Yeah, but
I'll
if you,
take Myles
as
Garrett
a,
out.
as a DN, what are your two main things? Or what's your job?
Pressure.
Pressure and hit the quarterback.
Yeah.
Will Anderson, I mean, those two are in the league, not just the AFC. Top 4 in each of those.
Yeah.
And they aren't there anywhere. That's my big gripe. I will say they made up for it. They're finally respecting Derek Stingley. Great. I'm very happy about that.
I mean, all the cornerbacks for the AFC is accurate.
Yeah, Denzel Ward.
Marlon
Patrick-
Humphrey's having a great bounce back year.
I'm mad that our defense was bad this year.
I mean,
the
you
Niners.
still got Nick in.
I know, but we're used to having like a little bit more.
Well, also,
You know what I mean?
You dealt with a lot of shit this year, dude. A lot of shit.
I know, but still,
like,
bro.
you can't really control about members of your family dying and.
Chavarius, yeah.
It's just like Travarius. I think it was.
Well,
one of the
honestly,
best.
Chavarius is gone. We have a new CB1.
Also, you know what the surprising thing is? None of the Philadelphia Eagles secondary got on there.
Dude.
None of it.
Well,
None of them.
I'm shocked that Houston didn't get a safety in there. We have like the number 1 pass defense in the league.
No,
Or number 3, I believe.
Yeah, but none of the corners like number 27 on the Philadelphia Eagles. He didn't get in.
Yeah. I'll say, I think it's crazy that they only have 1 free safety for the Pro Bowl. I think it's a little nuts. Because, because, like, with that 1 free safety, I think that would be a good point of discussion. I can't really argue, Kalen Bullock from Houston over Minka, but, like, statistically, I could argue with anyone over that second slot.
Oh,
for
yeah.
Kalen Bullock with his, is it pass deflections? I think he has, like, it's like a 30 or 40 QBR given to the quarterback when targeted. He's like top 3 or somewhere in that top 5 range of interceptions in the league as a rookie. Given he's not getting any sort of respect, even on the
Is he a
defensive
free or
rookie.
strong?
He's a free safety
Okay.
because we had who was it?
Jimmy Ward.
Jimmy Ward and Jalen Petrie playing that strong safety or that nickel
Strong
slot.
safeties for AFC is accurate though.
Yeah, I would give him the strong safety side. I don't know who I'd put in over Derwin James, but I'm sure there's a conversation to be had there.
He's been really good this year.
But
No.
Well, what about the dude from the Falcons, Jesse Bates?
yeah, Jesse Bates.
But he's not going to go over Buddha or Brian Branch. They've been
Oh yeah,
both
he's in the
really-
NFC. That's
yeah,
right.
they've
that's
both
NFC.
been really good this year. Actually, honestly, Xavier McKinney's been really good. I'll say that. But Kirby Joseph leads the league in interceptions. I know, like it's.
Well, that's
it's
the
like,
thing. Is like
yeah.
there should be 2 slots.
Yeah,
I think they
so
both deserve
it's just
it.
more like the
So.
fact is just I don't know. There's always going to be very popular opinions or popularity contests with the Pro Bowl, which I wish it went back to the regular format where fans don't vote, because when fans vote on somebody, it's going to be stupid. Like that one year where Tyler Huntley got in.
yeah, Tyler Huntley was cold that year though.
He was pretty good that year.
All right, let's dive into this college football. All of us, some of us were watching the game yesterday, me included. Texas versus Arizona State. I will give my piece onto this, and I'll move on to everybody else as well.
Terrible.
Texas is going to play against Ohio State next week, and I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. I'm going to give my take later on, but this, for me, this should not been a game. But also the fact is, I'm not totally blaming my defense for the loss, but I'm also going to try to, give some good praise. The good thing is Quinn showed up at the end. All right, he showed up when it mattered on that 4th and 13. And on that 4th and 13, with Matthew Golden. Also that throw to Gunnar Helm, another throw to Matthew Golden again, and then also the fact is that rushing touchdown as well was really good. When it came down to it, Stark and Quinn might have won us the game, but they almost lost us the game.
They tried to give it away.
They gave it away because literally, like, forcing the ball to Bond is what is killing things. Okay, I get it. He's supposed to be number one, but
He's not the number one.
It's
Golden is the number one.
Golden is the number one. But the thing is, it's just like more the fact is, I don't like when Stark starts off hot, like, let's go. Foot on the gas pedal. We scored in 2 plays, right? And then he just gets off the gas pedal. If Quinn is playing good at the start, you need to go Quinn. You can't be doing this all fancy trick plays and all this kind of stuff. You gotta just stick with the basics. And by not running the ball as well, not trying to find a running game, or the fact is, I was talking to Bryce yesterday, not getting Jalen Blue into it, because I know that we're not going to try to get into stats. 4 carries for 4 yards is ridiculous for Jalen Blue.
After having almost 200 total in the game before.
Yeah,
and
against Clemson, right?
And then Gunnar Helm not touching the ball until the 4th quarter.
It's just, offensively, we played so bad that our defense had to get on the field. And it was going to, like I said, like I'm going to say, if we're always going 3 and out just like that, even though our defense did a big goal line stand, Wisner fumbles in the end zone, safety, get our defense back out there, we're going to get fucking tired. Yeah. Our big people are going to get tired. Anthony Hill's going to get tired. But at the end of the day, when our defense needed to show up, it did kind of show up at the end. Manny Muhammad needs to work on whatever he's doing his sophomore slump, because right now it looks terrible. I know that Bryce said yesterday when we were talking that it was a duck of a throw, but he doesn't blame him on that. But also the fact is, like, he's been getting picked on for the past 2 games, and now we're playing a better wide receiver core. Mm-hmm. John A. Barron.
Way better wide receiver core.
Way better. And I know the fact is there's going to be a defensive planning for the next week because we play on Thursday next week in Dallas. John A. Barron needs to be on Jeremiah Smith, number 4. I don't know how he's going to be the best. He won the best corner award. He's shown up. But all the wide receivers that we've been playing against right now are not number 4. Mm-hmm. And we trickle down the list. Number 2 is good. Number 17 is good. We're playing all 3 of those wide receivers will go first round. All Ohio State.
Dude, in my opinion, Jeremiah Smith is, if not the best wide receiver in college, and he's a fucking freshman, bro.
Yeah, 1 of 1.
Like,
but that's all my take. Also, get rid of Burt Auburn. I'm tired of seeing him on that field. I cannot be scared of when my kicker comes out and, like,
Alex Hernandez trying out for.
Bro, don't even. Don't even.
I'm gonna bring it back to Texas, Arizona State. All right, Texas. What was their saying going into the season? All gas, no brakes. What it has been this season is we'll push the gas pedal for 5 minutes in the first quarter, and we're riding our brakes for the rest of the game.
Putting our defense.
This is ridiculous. I mean, you score in 2 plays, and they ran, I don't know if y'all saw it, they ran the same play twice, which is what they hit. They had a wheel route and a seam, hit the seam, then they hit the wheel route for a touchdown. Simple, easy as that. They cannot run with you. And then what do we do after that? We're going to just bang our head into a wall for three and a half quarters doing nothing. You get the ball in the 4th quarter, 6 minutes left, 2nd and 4. I don't know. I cannot trust Sarkisian and Quinn Ewers in the same room. I don't know what they have going on. 2nd and 4, you got 6 minutes. You're up 8. Run the ball. Run out the clock. What do we want to throw? A deep shot fade. And
In triple coverage.
In triple coverage, and it could have been completed if Quinn didn't throw an absolute duck. That was a terrible play call that somehow almost worked, but it didn't because of terrible quarterback play. And that's going to be the death of this offense and this team is you cannot trust the quarterback, and when it gets into end-of-game decisions, I can't trust Sarkisian. Like, where my head was after Burnt missed that field goal, I was mad, but I was like, you know what? This is fine. This is the last time I have to watch Quinn Ewers and Burnt Orange. And Sark, you're coaching for your job next year. I know that sounds ridiculous, but you can't. He hasn't won a big game. Who'd he beat? OU? Everyone beat OU this year.
I mean, this year. Are you saying like big game this year?
Big game this year, and I mean he's done decent. But I mean, you talk about the biggest game last year in the quarterfinals. It's constant dumb decisions. You go away from the strength of your team. I mean, it's the same. It's a similar argument that I have with him versus Ryan Day. Is they're very smart, very smart. They're so smart that they don't do the easy stuff that's right in front of them that wins you the game. And I think that's where I get frustrated. And
you were frustrated yesterday not seeing the arch package either.
No arch package. Yeah, your run game is not working. I mean, Wisner did bad. And again, we're going to run our head into a brick wall. Jaden Blue, a guy that we can get into space that'll make people miss, goes off against Clemson. We're going to give him the ball 4 times. The rest we're going to have him pass block. Wisner couldn't get anything going all game. And then it's, Texas can't run the ball. Well, you have Arch Manning just sitting there. Like, who can run the ball? What are you doing? Oh, Quinn ran 5 yards into the end zone to score a touchdown. Oh, he's mobile. We don't need Arch anymore. That's stupid.
Yeah, my 5-second take on that game. So I watched the game late. I saw that they were up 17 to, I think, 8, 3? 5, something like that. And then they score, and then I leave. I come back, and then it's almost like
it's 24-24.
It's a tie game.
Yeah.
And so it's late in the fourth quarter, and so I see what Bryce is talking about, y'all's constant issues with the play calling. And it's like, it was some I don't know what time it was in the game, but they decided to run like a bubble screen that Ewer took like 6 seconds to decide to throw it to the dude, and then he ran out of bounds.
Oh, yeah.
And then decided to run it on like a 3rd and long or something like that. So, I mean, that was terrible. And then it gets to overtime, and first, the entire game, it just, what's that dude's name? Skibbity?
Skibbity. Second best running back in the nation.
He was absolutely running,
him
dissecting the Texas defense. I'm like, it was just straight up. Even in the overtime, but like in overtime, somehow they pulled through. They let Skibbity score, and then they scored right after, and then Arch, they came up with a good play like down the middle to the tight end on the very first play. So that was
for me. I only have like 3 things to say. 1, Matthew Golden, bro, like
First round.
not first round, but like
First round.
depending on how the rest of this college football playoffs goes, like bro is increasing his draft stock like crazy. Like by far, he's number 1 wide receiver. Besides like Gunnar Helm, I think they're both like the 2 top options.
You got it, yeah.
Like you need to get those 2 the ball.
Yeah.
Number 2, I think Arizona Arizona State deserves more credit. That team, like they're a good football team, bro. Like
they win that game if they have their number 1 wide receiver.
Oh yeah,
Jaden McMillan's not hurt. They win that game.
Arizona State didn't have their number 1, right? He was out. And like that's a good football team with a good head coach. So like
they're gonna be really good.
Like as much as a lot of people are gonna criticize Texas, like all of us are gonna like because they deserve it. They do deserve it. But Arizona State is a good, sneaky good football team.
No, and one thing I will say too is Scadaboo is just ridiculous. We got to see him in person. Unfortunately, he's playing our university over here.
Texas State.
Hey, we did hold him, I believe, to the least yardage out of any other.
Least yards per carry, second least yards, and I think he only scored once.
Yeah,
and it was like at the goal line.
Yeah,
but
great. That talked a lot of shit this week.
But I will say, not to throw you under the bus, Jonah, the quarterback and Scadaboo talked a lot of trash this week, and I do remember you saying we're gonna shut both of them down. But this is where I'm just messing. But this is where I'm bringing it to. Scotty had a great game though. I mean, there were a lot of people. I mean, I don't blame people for not watching Arizona State football. I wouldn't have watched them if we didn't play them.
Yeah.
But I do think there is some motivation in that game to light a fire under Texas because, as I said, this is the first time in 27 years that the Peach Bowl has ever done this. Scatterboo won the Offensive MVP award for that whole thing, given well-deserved.
Well-deserved.
But your team won, but no one was good enough on that roster to get that award. That they had to give it to the losing team. And Scatterboo...
I think arguably, like, Matthew Golden could have won it, but I Scatterboo 100% deserved it.
Yeah,
bro,
250 total yards.
Yeah, bro.
Like,
Johnny
I
Barron
think
won
3 touchdowns, right?
Yeah, Johnny Barron won defensive player.
Yes, which is fair. He looked like the only person on defense that wanted to play.
Anthony Hill
And the freshman, that he was playing good too. Colin Simmons was playing good too.
This is my first game that I've seen Anthony Hill just look lost. He did not play. He did not play as good as he needed to be because, honestly, I'm going to say this right now. The Arizona quarterback, we just let him just run when he needed to.
He's pretty good too, though. He's a freshman.
I'm not. But passing-wise, we finally got him to throw a pick.
Yeah.
And that is literally our strength, our defense this year. Last year, it used to be D-line. If we had Byron Murphy and Devondre Sweat on that defensive line yesterday, or the day before yesterday.
It would have been clamped.
It would have been, yeah. But this year, it's just like more the fact is, when I see our defensive line, it's not, we have 2 good edge players. It's the middle. It is literally the middle where I have concern.
Michael Taft
Which is
had
crazy to me.
too.
Michael Taft played kind of rough.
Yeah.
But
Our secondary,
one of those D tackles, I think it's like 92 or 90.
95?
One of them, he's like has a 2nd round grade.
Oh,
like
Alfred Collins?
He plays weird. It was,
really good.
they just, and that's where I'm perplexed. And that's where I land is they've been good pretty much all season. Like, pretty solid. So I choose to think that was just Scatterboo being Cam Scatterboo.
Yeah.
But
rather
ETN
than
ran all over them too.
Yeah, but I mean ETN is also.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at them; they're two
Yeah.
of the top 5 running backs in college football.
I'm just like, I don't know how I'm going to feel, and I know that we're not supposed to be. I mean, not supposed to be. But I don't know how I'm going to feel about this Ohio State versus Texas game because literally I don't know how our secondary just could be the realest
Which
test.
we're going to save that for next week.
The last segment of Chopping It Up today is Ohio State versus Oregon. It's going to be a little quick one. My thoughts and opinions is literally, as of right now, Georgia is also losing to Notre Dame. The bye week teams potentially all lost, but Oregon and Ohio State, I told everybody this is going to probably be
Notre Dame downs Oregon.
Oh,
Notre Dame just beat Oregon, or Georgia. Sorry, Notre Dame just beat Georgia.
yeah. I'm just going to say this. It was all the bye week teams just lost, but Oregon had the number 1 team. They're the number 1 team, undefeated, all that kind of stuff. Dylan Gabriel, Heisman contender, all that. And yesterday, they did not look like they know how to play football at all. Their secondary, their defense, couldn't keep up with number 4. And they tried to do number 4, they went number 2. They made Will Howard look like a top 5 quarterback in the nation yesterday. And then once they figured out the pass, then they just ran it with the 2 running backs.
Well, Oregon's best thing is their offense, and that was just completely shut down. So
I don't know how many 3-and-outs they had. Every time I looked at the screen, it was a 3-and-out.
And then Ohio State defense got after them. So
just the big play factor for Ohio State was just too much that game. Like, it was like every other play was like a 60-yard touchdown, 40-yard touchdown. So
it was too much to come back from. And literally, they called this the $20 million roster for a reason. If you're Ryan Day and you don't win a national championship with this $20 million roster, and that $20 million roster couldn't even beat Michigan, there is going to be some job on the line. I know if he doesn't even make it to the national championship game.
Yeah. See, this is where I kind of sit, right? I will admit when I'm wrong most of the time. And I was very critical of Ryan Day and Chip Kelly after that Michigan loss in our last episode. Yeah, I think we all were. And I'll say I was wrong. I think Ohio State definitely needed that loss to Michigan. I think that helped them turn the corner. Would you still like to beat Michigan? Yes. They showed where their weakness is because Ohio State cannot just get there and we're going to run the ball to set up the pass. They have to pass to set up the run, which is fine because it's a great attack. What I will say is Ohio State came in there hungry, pissed off, and I think Oregon wasn't ready for it. I think it was maybe the rest because I still think Oregon has a great roster. I still think they're a really good team. Honestly, I think Oregon is a top 4 team in college football. They just ran into a buzzsaw. Yeah, there's so much about that Ohio State team that is hard to defend, hard to take care of, but then also hard to attack.
On both sides of the ball.
On both sides of the ball. And I think they're very dangerous. And that's why I think next week, bringing it back to Texas,
it's a big game.
This is the Texas-Ohio State game is the national championship game. This will be the biggest game played in the whole college football season.
So is Notre Dame like already they're going to the national championship?
No.
No.
Notre Dame's
So
going
they have to
against
play Penn State.
Oh, Penn State.
Penn State.
Okay.
But yeah, that one's gonna be a doozy.
What's the score?
I didn't see the score. It just said Notre Dame takes down Georgia.
Probably still 23-10. Neither of them can really.
23-10.
23-10.
But
That's poverty.
yeah.
We'll just
Thank
wrap
you
it
for
up.
watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Continue along with us in this journey we have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see y'all
Episode 3.
shortly.
Episode 3 will drop pretty soon.